What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Life Advice with Hunter. This is the show where I read questions from viewers just like you, and I give you some advice on whatever is going on in your life. And if you want to submit your own questions for these videos, you can do so by going down into the description, finding the Google form link that's anonymous, or you can join our Discord server, or you can leave it in the comments, or you can simply find me on social media. Whatever works for you. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and read a question here from the Google form. One of my friends recently got into a relationship. Normally we would spend nights playing video games together and just overall having a good time with one another. But over the last couple weeks, he's been spending more of his time in private calls with her. I just feel like I'm losing him as a friend, and everybody else in the group also agrees. Am I being selfish for feeling this way? How do I tell him how I feel and how I think that he needs to focus more on us rather than the new girlfriend? All right, so I am going to assume you're on the younger side, and when I say younger side, I mean high school. And I say that because my opinion on this has changed in the time that I've been an adult. If you would have asked me when I was in high school, I would have given you the answer that I think that a lot of people would probably give, which is, nah, fuck that girl, brother. He needs to spend all the time with you. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck that woman. And you know, I don't really fully agree. You know, you could probably guess I'm not some fucking loser. But here's the thing, right? I've had several experiences with this where I've had friends that get girlfriends and they spend less time with the group. And the thing is that that's going to happen throughout your life. I want to make that clear, is that you are not always going to have the same amount of time with your friends that you would expect to. I'll just use this as an example. Noah, the other guy that runs this channel with me, he, like when we were back in high school and we were making videos, we would play almost every single night together. We pretty much only play together when we record a video now, and that's fine. That's literally just because that's our time to play. You know what I mean? So that's going to happen throughout your life. It's not always going to be, oh, we're going to play video games every night together. It's probably not going to be that way. You guys are going to get careers. You guys are going to grow up. You guys are going to have families. You guys are all going to get girlfriends, all that shit, right? Like, no matter where you're at in your life, this is going to happen. But the thing is that I don't think that you need to tell him that, hey, you're spending too much time with this girl. What you actually need to do is incorporate his girlfriend into the group is really the thing that I want to tell you, because, you know, the truth of the matter is that he's not going to pick his boys over the girl, all right? Like, let's just be honest here. And he probably shouldn't, right? Especially depending on what his life goals are, right? You know, I've said that, you know, but I do think that if you want a traditional family, then do that. If that's what you want for you, then do that, you know? And that might be what he wants. And the truth of the matter is that when you tell your best friend, hey, you're spending too much time with that girl, he's not going to fucking listen to you. He's not. And because she's got something that you don't, all right? She's got pussy and you don't, all right? You know what I mean? Like that's the real truth here, is that a lot of people get in this mindset of, oh, nah, dude, it's always boys over girls. And it's like, yeah, when you're 16, you know what I mean? Like, when you're 16, sure, yeah, that's how it feels. That's how life seems to be. But the truth of the matter is that it's not always going to be that way. You're also going to probably experience this where you're going to meet a girl and she's going to just change your life, right? She's just going to be different, you know? And the truth of the matter is that it might be the girl that you don't end up marrying, but a girl that breaks your heart, right? And you're going to spend a lot of time with her, and you're going to give her your world. You're going to spend less time with your buddies. And that's fine, right? I do think that there does need to be a balance, though. So really, like, think to yourself, is he really spending all of his time with her, or are you just mad that he's spending, like, a couple hours with her and no time with you, right? Because if that's fair, then fine. Because the truth of the matter is that while I think relationships are important, especially while you're young, you know, learn about relationships, all that good shit. The truth of the matter is that a lot of people, what they'll do is that they'll stop their life for a girl, right? And really, your life shouldn't stop for anything. Like literally, your life shouldn't stop for anything. And when I mean that it shouldn't stop for anything, is that it shouldn't stop for a girl. It shouldn't stop for a video game. It shouldn't stop for anything, you know? Like, your life should always be moving. You should always be trying to move forward in your career. You should always be trying to learn something. I genuinely think that a big thing that young people have is that they get caught up and they don't realize how important living in the moment is, right? And if he's not doing that, then yeah, call him out on it and be like, brother, look, I'm glad that you're happy. I'm glad that you got a girlfriend, all this great stuff. But you need to lock in, you know. And don't phrase it like, oh, the girl's the problem. No, fuck you for doing that. All right, like, because the thing is that he's just gonna resent you for that. If you go, you're spending too much time with your chick, brother. Like, he's not gonna listen to you. Right? He's gonna say fuck you. He's probably gonna tell her about it, and then she's probably gonna want him to block you. All right, don't ruin a friendship over it. Just be real with him, you know. And let him know, like, hey, you know, like, I understand that you love her and that's great, but you also need to be able to have a life outside of your relationship. And that is something that a lot of people, especially young people, struggle with, is that while relationships are important, they can't be your whole world. But the big thing is that you need to incorporate her into the friend group. And I'll tell you why, man, because if she is good enough for your friend, she's probably good enough for you guys. And if you want to be able to spend time with your friend, you're gonna have to spend it with her, and that's not a bad thing, all right? If he's dating a girl and she's actually a good girl, she's probably fun to be around, all right? My friends that are dating or are married at this point have great girlfriends, you know? A lot of people that I went to high school with and stuff, like whenever I visit town, whenever I go back to Michigan, we get lunch or something, they bring their wives or their girl, which is so weird to say. I'm at that weird age now where people are getting married and having kids, so it's like, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, it's gonna be a weird feeling. Like, I remember listening to Whit Rowley as a younger man, and he would make songs about that, talking about like his friends that have kids and shit now or are married. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds crazy. And then you actually experience it. It is the weirdest thing ever. It's like, wow, you're doing grown up shit, you know? Like, I mean, we're all doing grown up shit at this point, but it feels so weird, you know? Especially now with marriage being so later in life. I'm 21, but I'm talking about the people that get married relatively younger. But anyway, sorry, back to the topic at hand. Yeah, bring her into the friend group more. You know, because like I said, if she's good enough for him, she's probably good enough for you. And it's a good way to spend time with both of them, right? You should know a lot about your friend's partner. Which is something that I think that some people are afraid to do for some reason. I don't know why. You know, for example, Noah's wife. I know a lot about Noah's wife because every time that me and Noah usually hang out or we talk or whatever the fuck, she's usually there. And that's great. She should be, right? Like, that is how relationships should be. Your partner, and this goes for anybody that is in a relationship, if your friends don't like your partner, that should be a sign that something's wrong. Like, and I'm not saying one or two of them that's like some weird alpha male that's like, nah, dude, you can't spend any time with a bitch, brother. No, like, if your normal friends are even kind of put off by her, that should be a warning sign to you. Like, truthfully, there's an episode of How I Met Your Mother where Ted is in love with this girl, and he doesn't realize how much she talks because he's in that puppy love stage, and everybody else is pretending, you know, and everybody else notices it except him. It's like that, all right? When you're in love with somebody, you ignore the faults. Like, that's just true. Like, your brain, like, I'm not even trolling you. Your brain will just somehow ignore it. I have gone on dates with girls and, like, I'll just completely ignore the faults that are clearly there until, like, either a couple dates in or until somebody mentions it to me. Like, hey, your girlfriend said this in front of all of us. Like, what are you doing? You know, I've had several friends do that kind of thing. And I think that it's healthy. I do think that it is healthy if you have somebody in your life that is willing to tell you when a relationship has gone too far. And when I say gone too far, I don't mean it's gone too far in the sense of like you're spending too much time, but where she's not good for you. Because unfortunately, there's going to be girls that you fall in love with, girls that you date that aren't going to be the right match for you. And it's nothing against them. It's just that, you know, there are a lot of reasons why we fall in love with people, you know, the obvious one being physical attraction, emotional connection, whatever. And a lot of the times, especially relationships that are built on physical attraction, don't last because, you know, you could hang out with somebody that is gorgeous, right? But they have the worst personality ever. And I'm not saying pretty people are dumb. That's not my argument. But what is my argument is that, you know, there are things that weigh out the basic things that we look for in a partner, right? And it's why when you see marriages that last into their 70s or 80s are the way that they are, because it wasn't built off of basic connection. It was built off of deeper connection. And I think that's important. And, you know, maybe remind your friend of that too, you know? I mean, I don't want you to be a dick and immediately go, you know, bro, you're scaring you're spending too much time with the chicks, brother. Like, you know, I've said it a lot because I was once that guy. You know, I remember, you know, I can tell this story. Noah at one point was spending a lot of time with his current wife, and I was 18, freshly 18, and it bugged me, right? And because I was thinking the same way that you were thinking. I wasn't incorporating her into our friendship. You know what I mean? And that's what you have to do. You have to incorporate your friend's girlfriend, your friend's wife into your friendship, because they are a partnership. And that's what a traditional like partnership is that you are not together, you are now one, right? You know, I've said this before, I'm not religious, but even by law, it states that, hey, you are not a joint venture, you are one. And I think that is something really important to remember sometimes. But yeah, man, so, don't be afraid to incorporate her into the group. I think that it would be a good exercise, and, learn to hang out with her a bit, because just because she's a woman doesn't mean she can't be fun. If your boyfriend's in love with her, she's probably a decent gal, you know what I mean? Like, most guys are going to choose relatively decent women. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, you're going to fucking date nothing but awful women your whole life. Absolutely not. There are going to be amazing girls that come into your life, but things just don't work out, right? And you want to be able to see the red flags that he might not, I think is something really important to keep in mind. And if he listens, that's good. If he doesn't, oh fucking well, you know what I mean? That's what I say. If you tell him how you feel about it and then he ignores you, just say, oh well, that's his decision to make. That's his mistake, whatever. But yeah, thank you so much for your question, man. And as always, if you want to submit your own question, you can do so by going down into the description and finding the Google form link. You can also submit a question via the Discord server, or you can find me on social media, whatever works for you. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I am out. Peace.